find a camping spot there. If we can't find any camping, then we're just going to do some hikes and then go home. Right, we've arrived at the lower Lehman campground, and we're about 3 spots still open, so we've picked one of them. None of them are particularly flat, so we're going to see if we can get our tent up here, but at least we found a spot, which is a good sign for our weekend. We got our tent set up right behind me. It took a little bit because the ground is really hard here, but that was the only flat spot in like not just this campsite, but like this entire campground. So it's kind of on the driveway. So that's why it was a little bit tougher there. But we've got that all set up, and now we're just going to have lunch here at the campsite. Just making some sandwiches. Are you having a sandwich, Lou? Uh-huh. What kind? Peanut butter and honey? Mm-hmm. Mmm. So we finished lunch, and the visitor center that's actually in the park, which is the Lehman Caves Visitor Center, is actually closed because of COVID. The caves are not open, so we just drove back into the town of Baker, and we're going to go to the visitor center here, which we've heard is open. You going to get a book? Mm-hmm. Junior Ranger?
Yeah.
Alright, now we are done at the visitor center. The visitor center is not really open. Like most national parks this summer, it's just the gift shop, and then there's some rangers outside with their materials telling you what to do. So we picked up Lucy's Junior Ranger book. But now we are actually headed out across Nevada, about an hour into Nevada, to Ely. Because Ely is a place where my grandmother lived when she was a little girl for a short period of time during the Great Depression. So if you remember seeing my mom, if you watched the Rocky Mountain vlog, this is a place where her mom lived. So we're going to go here and see some family history, maybe, if we can find anything. Of where my great grandfather would have worked is here, and now we're at the White Pine Public Museum, and so we're looking around here, seeing if there's any stuff from that era. Right, we have now made it back to Great Basin National Park, and we are now on the Wheeler Peak Scenic Drive, which will take us up to alpine levels, or close to alpine levels.
Hi.
Here. We're not going back to the campsite right now.
What?
We're not going to the campsite right now.
Why not?
We're going to go to a hike.
Go to a hike. So So we're going to head up and do a little hike up at the top of this scenic drive. We will not be hiking all the way to the top of Wheeler Peak, which is over 13,000 feet. So we made it to the end of the scenic drive, and now we are doing a tiny little hike on the Sky Island Forest Loop. Now on the Osceola Ditch Trail. We are going to go just to the ditch. The actual trail runs about 9 miles back up towards Wheeler Peak where we were before. And the whole ditch is actually 18 miles long because they diverted water from one of the rivers here into this ditch for mining gold. So they had to run it all the way to the town of Osceola. The next day, we woke up, Lucy and I went on our walk like normal. We just did a little hike up to the park's amphitheater, and then we packed up the camp, and now we are at the cafe at the Lehman Caves Visitor Center. We've heard that this is a very good place to get breakfast, so we're going to grab breakfast here, and then we're going to probably go down to the Visitor Center and get the Junior Ranger badge. We finished up breakfast, which was super good, and then we are on the Mountain View Nature Trail, which is just a tiny little trail walk. It's paved up here behind the Lehman Caves Visitor Center. The caves are closed, but this little trail is open. Great Basin National Park.
It's not that great. It's fine. It's just definitely in the middle of nowhere in the desert. Not like a ton to do.
Yeah, it's we did like it.
We liked it, yeah.
We liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
We liked it. We're just telling them it was not like...
It wasn't our favorite.
It's not like the top national park. We did find out from a ranger that it's the least visited national park.
In the lower 48.
In the lower 48, yeah. They're obviously like American Samoa and
Alaska and Hawaii.
The Alaskan parks. Not very many people go, so if you're looking to not be in a crowded national park, Great Basin is cool.
Yep.
And
we were there over Labor Day weekend with no camping reservations, and we got one of many camping sites.
yeah,
And there was nobody.
they filled up.
Yeah, they filled up, but it wasn't
But
hard to get a site.
yeah, they for a park that gets very few visitors, I'd say they have a good number of sites
Yeah.
for camping. And yeah, there's not much out there, so it was.
We might have a different perspective if we had gone on a cave tour if
Yeah.
they were open.
The caves are one of the big draws. They're probably the big draw of the park. And of course, cave tours are closed across national park sites right now for COVID. So we couldn't do that. But we did 3 hikes. Lucy and I guess, did another one. So Lucy and I did 4. You did 3 with us, and they were fun little hikes. They were very short.
Yeah.
And
I liked the drive up to the top.
Yeah, it's a
That was
good scenic drive.
It was short, which was nice because usually those scenic drives take a long time to drive.
Yeah.
But this one I think was less than an hour to go all the way up and back.
Yeah, less than an hour round trip on the scenic drive up to Wheeler Peak. There isn't, if you want to do long hikes, you certainly could do those here. For people with kids, there's only a few things to really do, so it's not like you could go and spend more than a day there. Right? Like,
With kids, if you wanted to do longer hikes, you could easily spend a couple days there.
yeah, if you were going to do big hikes like up to the top of Wheeler Peak, and then there's some other big ones there, if you were doing that, you could spend a couple days. But yeah, the campsite was not flat.
No. But it was really shaded. It was a good distance away from other campsites.
Yeah, there was good spacing between them.
Long driveways on all of them if you had a camper or an RV or something.
Yeah, I'd say it was really. I was kind of surprised at how like RV friendly it was. I mean, there weren't hookups or anything, but there were lots of people in RVs, and parking was easy. I think not really difficult parking for the RVs. Yeah, and it was a pretty nice place to camp in. It was a fun campsite.
Really good.
And the cafe was really good. There at the visitor center with the cave tours. And the other visitor center was open, but the exhibits weren't. But they had a nice little shop, and they had rangers there who talked to us, helped us out.
Yep.
And they do the junior ranger badge. And you did not talk. I know you didn't talk to the rangers. And it is a dark sky park, so if you like to see the stars, we just stayed up for a little while to see the stars. We didn't stay up too late. Yep, you did see little baby stars, huh? So it's a good park for seeing stars, and yeah, it's probably That's right, a constellation is a star picture. Very good. So it's a good place to learn some stuff. Lucy learned a lot there. So, where would you put it on your list of national parks?
It's down at the bottom.
Probably the lowest, right? Like I think it's worth visiting, especially I think if you live where we live. And yeah, it's probably worth going to if you are either trying to see all the parks or at least all the parks in the lower 48, then you need to go so you can get the stamp. Or if you're within reason, if you're within like a 5-hour drive and you've done the other parks around you, it's probably good to go see. That's what I would say. But it probably is the least visited national park for a reason.
Yes.
And the reason is there isn't a big draw to it, and it's not near anything, right? So some parks, even if they aren't like the most amazing, can get a lot because they're close.
They're close.
Their public land's close to something. Really, there is no community nearby, so there isn't really anything to say about like the gateway community here. Because I mean Baker,
it's the town of Baker,
Baker's there, but there's nothing in Baker.
There.
There's one motel/RV/campground, and that's it. That's like
there's a gas station.
the whole thing. There's a gas station, And then the next closest things are Ely, where we went to see where my grandmother had lived.
That's an hour away.
And there's not much there. I mean, we saw the museum. So, little small town museum. And yeah, that's over an hour away.
Just barely, though.
And then on the other side, you have to come all the way back to Delta.
Which is like an hour and a half.
It's like over 100 miles to get back to Delta. So, there you go. There you have it. Great Basin National Park. Yellow Van Travels out.